Confusing CPR, BLS, and first aid? You're not alone. Picture this: you're at a family gathering, everyone's laughing, food on the grill, kids running around. Suddenly, someone collapses. Hearts race, voices rise, and in that moment, what you do or don't do can mean everything. But here's the problem. Most people freeze because they're not sure if they should start chest compressions, grab a first aid kit, or wait for someone trained in advanced care. And honestly, it's not your fault. These three terms, CPR, BLS, and first aid, get tossed around like they mean the same thing. They don't. And if you're not clear on the differences, you could end up doing the wrong thing at the worst possible time. Think about it. Emergencies don't come with labels. No one shouts, "This is CPR, not first aid." You're thrown into chaos, and that's why knowing the difference is everything. Once you do, you can act with confidence instead of freezing or guessing. The problem? Most people assume CPR is always the answer. It isn't. CPR is powerful, but it's not for every crisis. Sometimes the right response is simpler. Other times it's more advanced. Confuse them, and you risk harm instead of help. So let's clear it up. CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is about one thing: keeping oxygen and blood moving when the heart stops. It doesn't restart the heart like the movies. It buys time, keeping the brain alive until professionals arrive with defibrillators or medication. But here's the rule. CPR is only for people who are unresponsive and not breathing. If they've got a pulse or they're choking but awake, compressions are unnecessary and even dangerous. Broken ribs, internal bleeding, that's real damage. Imagine this: someone faints at the gym, they're breathing, their pulse is steady. That's not CPR. What they need is monitoring, maybe first aid for an injury, and time to recover. If you start chest compressions, you're making things worse. That's why understanding CPR matters. Used right, it saves lives. Used wrong, it creates new problems. And this is where BLS, Basic Life Support, comes in. BLS is CPR's bigger, more complete sibling. It includes CPR, yes, but also AED use, airway management, early recognition of cardiac arrest, and teamwork until help arrives. It's the system professionals rely on, and it's the step that changes everything. The difference is simple. CPR teaches you what to do with your hands and breaths. BLS teaches you how to make the right call in the bigger picture. Should you start compressions, open an airway, use the defibrillator? BLS gives you a flow to follow instead of guessing. If CPR is survival in the moment, BLS is about keeping that survival going until a medical team takes over. And while anyone can attempt CPR, BLS brings structure, confidence, and teamwork into the equation. But here's the twist. Neither CPR nor BLS covers everything. Not every emergency is a stopped heart. Some situations call for care that's far less dramatic, but just as important. That's where first aid comes in. First aid isn't about reviving a heart. It's about stabilizing someone until help arrives. Stopping bleeding, cooling burns, splinting fractures, treating shock, even keeping someone calm after they faint. It's the everyday side of emergency care, the kind you're most likely to use. And that's the point. Knowing whether the moment calls for CPR, BLS, or simple first aid can be the difference between helping someone and unintentionally hurting them. First aid covers a wide range, stopping bleeding, cooling a burn, splinting a fracture, even keeping a fainted person calm and lying flat. It's practical care, steps anyone can learn, that stabilizes someone until professionals arrive. Unlike CPR or BLS, which deal with immediate life or death crises, first aid often applies to injuries that aren't seconds from fatal. Picture it. You slice your hand while cooking. You don't need chest compressions. You need gauze, steady pressure, maybe stitches. Or a friend twists an ankle on a hike. You're not reviving their heart. You're wrapping, elevating, and making sure they don't worsen the injury. Here's where panic trips people up. Someone collapses, and without thinking, a bystander jumps to CPR. But if that person is breathing and has a pulse, compressions aren't just unnecessary, they're harmful. Cracked ribs, internal damage, added trauma, none of it helps. Take this scenario. At work, someone faints. You rush over and start pumping on their chest. It feels heroic until you realize their heart never stopped. What they needed was first aid, rolling them on their side, loosening clothing, maybe calming them until help arrives. Care, not compressions. The deeper truth is this: in medicine, the right action matters more than the dramatic one. CPR saves lives in the right context. First aid stabilizes when life isn't immediately at risk, and BLS bridges the gap in critical emergencies. Each has a role, but only if used correctly. So the real challenge becomes this: in the heat of the moment, how do you remember what to use and when? The conclusion gives you that simple rule, so here's the rule. If someone is unresponsive and not breathing, think CPR. If they need structured emergency care, like airway management or defibrillation, that's BLS. And if it's wounds, fainting, burns, or injuries where life isn't seconds away, that's first aid. 3 tools, 3 purposes, 1 goal: keeping people alive until help arrives. If this breakdown gave you clarity, imagine how many others are still confused. Share this video with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more life-saving insights. Your knowledge might be the difference between hesitation and saving a life.